So I was recently talking to a new coworker of mine. I'm very excited to see that we hired another individual who doesn't believe in marriage and relationships. I don't know if she's solosexual, but she has the same philosophy toward relationships as I do, and I'm glad we have somebody else like that because when the two of us, if we need any accommodations that don't revolve around family, it won't be so awkward anymore. To give you an idea, before we hired her, I had two coworkers who were in their 70s, been married, happily married for many decades. I have one who's recently divorced, and but it looks like she's gonna look for someone special to because she has a child, especially. And then I have another coworker who's in college, and it seems like every other weekend she goes on a date with some other guy. So I was the odd one out amongst them, and it made any sort of ask very tricky, whether it be taking time off to view a lunar eclipse, going to the computer Olympiad. It was remote, but I still wanted the next day off because the conference was being held in China. There's an 8-hour time difference, and anyway, but yesterday as I was talking to my coworker, I got a little bit of insight. See, she used to do tutoring on her own, and she relayed frustrations she had with the families of some of these kids, especially in regard to cancellation. I used to have problems with that too. Now, I asked her how did she put up a policy about that. She said she gave up on setting a policy because when she would have a policy, the parents would work their way around it. She would all of a sudden have parents who suddenly had chemotherapy or some kind of death of a pet. She told me she doesn't know how many pets were lost, how many illnesses were generated by that. And she didn't think it was healthy for the parents to be talking about that stuff. And that's not far from where I was, actually. I had a cancellation policy, but parents would always, I don't think I ever got anybody who made up illnesses, but what I did have was parents finding creative ways to work around it. So for example, I tell them you have to cancel within 24 hours. Okay, now we got a tutoring session tonight at 6 to 8, right? And then in the morning I get a phone call. Oh, can we start at like 6:30 or 7? And so the parents know I have something to go to at 8 o'clock. They might have even heard my plans after 8 o'clock. Maybe they know I want to go see a lunar eclipse or whatever the situation. Maybe it's not a lunar eclipse, but at least some kind of event. Maybe they overheard me. A lot of them know that I'm solosexual. Maybe they're... and so they know I can't do it. But they ask anyway because it forces me to say, no, I can't start that late. I got stuff to go to after that. And all of a sudden, it seems like they get a free cancellation out of it. And it makes me realize that maybe next time I have to talk to my boss to maybe spin it a little bit. Maybe instead of viewing a lunar eclipse, now it's to go study some astronomy with some kind of event, especially if there's a viewing event to go to, right? Maybe instead of the computer Olympiad, maybe now it's to pursue more education, right? Maybe instead of going to the beach in Gdansk Bay, it's a mental health break, a mental health reset of some sort, right? Anyways, it makes me realize that maybe sometimes we have to choose better words to suit what we're doing. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Please show your support by disliking this video. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.